Stream is up. We're up.
Oh, man.
Better be up than down. Well, I guess the old adage is it's better to be pissed on than pissed off. No?
Oh, wow. Robin Hood quote. Men in Tights quote.
They're...
A Robin Hood Men in Tights for everybody out there who's really cultured.
And on top of that, actually, the other one is the... that was also from, I think, Real Genius, starring Val Kilmer, I think.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Well, I know the quote in Men in Tights was, it's better to be pissed off than pissed on.
Either or, okay. Better to be pissed off than pissed on, I guess. Well, you could go either way.
Yeah,
that is one way to look at
it. Men in Tights. Yeah.
So, yeah, we got a lot to talk about today. A lot. Matter of fact, this just came in. Oh, we'll talk about it in a second here. See what happened here. We had a new subscriber.
Yep.
Yeah,
yes. Thank you for all the new subs. Thank you so much. All the support as of late.
Late support.
From those, obviously, and from today. Thank you. Somebody just subbed. If you're here, thank you so much.
Oh yeah, we got stuff going on. All right. Well, that's annoying. I've got a...
Well, there's your problem.
Huh?
Well, there's your problem.
All right, we're going to call 10 seconds here. 10 seconds.
Okay.
No, you're not there yet. Now you're 5,
8, 7,
4, 3, 2,
6,
1. Hey, everybody. Welcome. Now you have a show. Mike Core here.
What's going on?
Boy, as I reach for my... How are you?
What's
it up? It is August 18th? August 18th. Wednesday.
It is. 18.
1-8. We are back on it again, and we are a few subscribers large, few subscribers larger than we were the other day. Overwhelming response to one of our videos we put out there. Thanks everybody for the amazing comments. As Corey was alluding to in the intro, we are excited as the channel continues to grow, and this just hot in off the presses. Aptera just subscribed to us, but we've been talking to these guys for a while now. Hey guys, hope you're watching. Thanks for the sub. Maybe one of our videos turned up on your feed, and now I suddenly realize, hey, well, they did something important. Who knows? But we did have a discussion yesterday, or I guess from Monday, about Jeff Bezos and Elon Musk going square at it as Bezos sues NASA for their bidding process, and that video seems to have caught some fire. So thanks to you that watched it and left comments. Again, really, really appreciative. How are you?
I'm good. Yeah, I'm doing well, man. Yeah, what's going on with you? I'm nothing.
Drinking water.
Fine. Yourself? Is that a Jurassic Park?
This is Daddy-saurus.
It is.
Okay. Like a normal daddy, but more awesome. You've been in this studio so many times, and you have not read this cup?
I have not. It must always be pointing in the direction.
I always make sure when I'm drinking from it, I line the lid so that when I hold it, you can at least try to see it, that it's a Daddy-saurus cup. So that's what it is.
Personal product placement.
No, this is from this is my Father's Day gift from James, so it was pretty awesome. What else have we got going on? We got so much to talk to you about today. So today on the episode, we're going to be talking Thanks Bye. Blue Origin loses out to SpaceX in another matter, and that's going to be real interesting. We'll be leading off with that one. Then we also have what is it? So we got Joby has gone public. We have the flying car, which is the the Leo Coupe or something from a company called Urban eVTOL, I believe it is. Their new entry.
Urban.
So it's kind of confusing there, but then also not to be your dreams or your nightmares, but the oh man, the Atlas from the people at Boston Dynamics is doing parkour, and
yes.
we'll talk about that. So
more good stuff.
Yeah, it's kind of it's interesting to say the least, because when you watch that video, we'll share the video with you. Oh my God, you know what we forgot to put out there?
Nope.
The new Star Wars Visions. Right? Is it Star Wars Visions?
Oh yes. I can get a link.
You know, we might talk about it towards the end of the show. It just
What do you? Yeah, okay.
So if you get a chance, throw the link in there, because it's one of those things that looks like the LucasArts people have combined with Disney to go for an anime approach to the Star Wars saga, and that looks pretty. Yeah, it does look pretty cool actually. Pretty excited about that.
Looks pretty cool. If you're into anime and Star Wars,
It is a win. All right. So with that said, you know what I'm going to do? I am going to go ahead and take the floor a little bit, if you don't mind. And we will start the discussion with, yeah, I can't.
Do that while I grab this link. Yeah.
So here's the deal. Obviously, yesterday we made a video about the ongoing saga between SpaceX and Blue Origin and their competition to be the lunar lander or be selected by NASA. Blue Origin's already been kind of eliminated from the process. They have started a lawsuit and a couple other things where now SpaceX may or may not be kicking sand in their face. And basically, this is coming from Market Insider, and it basically says, if you can read it right here, sorry to say it, lead engineer at Jeff Bezos Blue Origin has left to join Elon Musk's SpaceX, who's working on the Blue Origin's moon lander. And now, this is pretty cool and sad at the same time because a top engineer decided that it was time to jettison after 3 years on the job after losing the $2.9 billion contract to SpaceX. One of Blue Origin's owns decided it was time to leave. And it was Nita Aurora on Monday announced on a LinkedIn post that he was leaving Blue Origin after nearly 3 years at the company. And he said Friday, August the 13th, Friday the 13th, bad day, I guess, for Jeff Bezos, was the last day, my last day at Blue Origin, he wrote. It was one hell of a ride working with the lunar program. Really honored that I got a chance to work with and lead incredibly smart, passionate people over the last 3 years. Next stop, SpaceX, exclamation point. So yeah, I'm just gonna start the conversation right there because that says a lot. That's a lot. What do you think?
Yeah, it's you know, as with companies, we can't be sure really what's going on, why this one person left the company. But on the face of it, if we zoom out and look at the big picture, of course, but now we have lead engineers leaving one company to go to a competing company. And in this case, those two companies happen to be leaving Blue Origin and going to SpaceX. So with all the other things going on in the news between these two companies, notwithstanding the billionaires at the top, but just everything else going on, it's interesting. And the gentleman that made the switch, probably good for his career, which is, I mean, you can't say nothing about that. Of course, people do that all the time. But yeah, it's hopefully more good news for SpaceX. And I'm sure. Well, I'm not sure, but maybe we'll hear something on Twitter about it. I don't know. These things happen.
Well, here, even beyond that, right? Though, and it's just the long line of stuff with Blue Origin. They hit that $2 billion mark where they turn around. They said, "Look, we'll offer you $2 billion back in cash, basically for where they're going." Then they turn around and they said, "Hey, we're going to sue you." Now, you know, it looks like SpaceX is either going to cherry pick, or could this be a situation where Jeff Bezos and company didn't have this guy under a non-compete? Now, normally, if you're an engineer and you're on top of some of these programs, right, I would have thought, myself personally, I would have been like, hey, let's get this guy under contract. Let's get him locked up. And if he walks out the door, let's make it so he can't work for a competitor for like a year or something, or he can't divulge what we were working on.
Of course.
In that arena. So it's just interesting to me. How did that not happen in this case, right?
I don't know. I mean, that's a good point. As far as non-competes go, I mean, we had them in the stuff we used to do too, and I don't know, man. I don't know.
It's one of those things you have to ask, right? And I guess another one is this kind of a pound sand moment for Bezos in, you know, this exit, this quote, right? This quote from this part right here where he says, you know, Friday the 13th is my last day, but he says back at the very really honored and that I got a chance to lead such incredible, smart, passionate people over the next couple of years. Next stop, SpaceX, exclamation point. That's almost, I mean, that's pretty poignant. That says a lot as an employee leaves a place and being like, hey, you know what I was here for, and you know I'm making a bounce, and you know I'm going directly across the street. What's the deal with that, right? I don't know, man.
Yeah, I don't know, man. It's I mean, maybe we won't hear any more about this, but maybe we will, you know, I mean.
Okay, so now what we have to start speculating on, and I'd like to hear from people in the comments below, is what other trade secrets could this guy possibly be dragging along the street with him? Because, hey, lunar landing has to be done in almost a similar fashion to how it was done back in the 1970s. You're not going to re-engineer the entire system. There's got to be some sort of delivery system. There's got to be a capsule. There's got to be some sort of lander. Then they've got to be able to come back and revisit the lander. Because you're not lifting off from space and coming straight home, from the best of my imagination, unless that's what's the new version of Starship or what they're putting out there supposed to do. Correct me if I'm wrong. So, I mean, are we looking at a new birth of technology? Because you know more about what the actual, the SpaceX solution is.
I mean, there are some renders. Let me see if I can find them. But there are some renders of Starship. Actually, you could look it up. You could probably look up SpaceX Human Landing System.
Okay, SpaceX. So the name of it is actually what? SpaceX what?
Well, the competition between the two is the Human Landing System, part of Artemis.
Right.
It's part of the Artemis program. But I'm pretty sure I saw some images of it. Because it looks like a Starship.
Does. Oh, so it yeah, so
SpaceX Starship landing. So it's a vertical rocket landing on.
So this is an all-in-one. Okay.
It'll need refuel in Earth orbit. But then it heads out to the moon and lands like a Starship lands.
There you go.
Now.
So it's all encompassing.
But yeah, it's if you've looked at the Human Landing System or some of the things that Jeff or Blue Origin had, they still have some capsule-like designs, but it's not like Starship's approach, at least in some of those renders.
Right.
But,
so this is the one that we're basically looking at is the Human Landing System that is coming up. Hold on a second. It's supposed to be coming up here. Here we go. So this is the actual picture of it. Yes, it looks like a big Starship, and that was my interpretation of what it was. And it looks like these guys are being lowered down via a crane of some sort of device. So yeah, it looks like this thing's going to make the whole trip as one piece. Which, hey, if they get it to work, fantastic. Wondering what the overall take's going to be. This one's got a lot of actually great news in there. Maybe we should put this one in from Space News. And we got one comment. Maybe since they lost out on the contract, he was able to get out of his own competition. Hey, could have been.
Oh, maybe whatever he was doing.
Yeah.
Dependent on them winning the contract, and now that there's no work for that, he's like, he's out. Maybe I don't know. Yeah, that could be
back when.
It's hard to see behind the curtain sometimes, but yeah, that could be.
So when I was working back in the video game industry, there was basically I had a non-compete contract that said that once if I left the company, I couldn't go work for another racing game company for a period of time. But however, if you were let go from the company, that actually was dropped. So it was kind of one of those things. So, hey, let us know what you think in the comments below. Like, subscribe, follow, and we'll bring you some other fresh news as this battle continues to heat up. And I'm just waiting to see what the Twitter machine, like you alluded to earlier, of one Elon Musk might be releasing. I doubt he's going to go full on sour grapes on this one, but scorched earth is not a policy that he doesn't sometimes take into consideration. So there's that.
Yep.
Hey, I'm done with it. And let's move on.
Yep.
All right. So the next one, I think, what are you doing for the next one?
I'll take the humanoid, terrifying robot from our nightmares.
You had to lead with it. Okay.
Yes. Yes. Or our dreams. It's super cool.
So wait,
guys. So I'll just
you want me to just start with the video, or what do you want to do? You can go either way.
Yeah. Go ahead. Just play the video, and I'll talk as it kind of goes. Because it's just there's no music.
So there's no music. Let me just get it all keyed up here. It's all keyed up, and
let me know when you're ready.
I am going. So go ahead and talk.
Cool. Yeah. So basically, this one I just found it's trending now on YouTube actually, and it's just it's a new video from Boston Dynamics, our friendly robotics manufacturers over there, and this one is just from yesterday, and it's a new version or new video of the Atlas. We've seen this before in previous videos, but in this one they're doing a makeshift parkour course in the same studio they've done some of their other videos. If you guys remember, they did a dancing video in unison with some of the other robots they have. Very cool as well. This one basically is just showing some movements of the robots traveling around the course. And some cool details from this one is that in the previous videos, it was noted that the robots it was kind of pre-programmed movements. And while the robot still had to maintain its balance and things like that, it wasn't really reacting and really perceiving what obstacles were in the environment. It was, like I said, pre-programmed kind of general movements. And it was something interesting to say that one of the quotes about this particular video was, in this video, they told them what they wanted to do and the general area of everything. And the robots themselves used the sensors on board to perceive the places and fine-tune the movements as they went. So they did a bit more. They're actually perceiving the environment and making like on-the-fly improvisation for their movements. And so this is getting closer to the, hey, tell the robot to pick this up and go out the door and go over there, and he figures it out. Pretty cool.
But
for sure. One thing I did want to point out, then I'll give
yeah.
it back to you, was go back to time code 37
Okay,
seconds.
37 seconds in the video. I was trying to key that up for you.
And play it and watch the robot jump up on the
Okay.
box.
Hold on.
And then almost fall over, but
All right, so we're 34 seconds here, so let me just get this into full screen mode. I'm not going to play the audio on this one, so let's just see what you're talking about here. So we're 37.
Yep.
So here we're 35.
You play it. He jumps up on the box, nearly loses it, but then corrects.
And then he goes up the box. But there's another one.
On.
There's another one.
So,
wait, there's another hitch. And guess what? It's like at 36 seconds or just before that, right? Watch his arm come up on top of this. Okay, wait a second. I didn't even have that playing for everybody. All right, so here we go. So this is what he's talking about. So first, watch the arm as it comes over on the top of this balance beam, right? And then check out and see what happens with the arm. It slips a little. See it a little unsteady? And then the foot, and there's the double tap. Oh, man, you are so correct.
Yeah, so... And then, of course, at the very end, you see the one guy brush his shoulders off. So that's pretty clever. But anyway, so there you go. I thought it was pretty cool to share. What do you think, man? What's
okay? So first of all, it's great when they're all dancing, right? There's music. It's fun. It's all lighthearted. There's nothing really there that you gotta go, oh my god, the applications could be great because they're dancing, and I don't really feel threatened. This is almost terrifying, right? And I'll tell you why it's terrifying. Because you hear the footsteps, number one, as the things are doing their maneuvers. You hear it, and it's almost ominous in the fact that you see them doing what they're doing, and then you picture what are the applications that this could be used for. Now, obviously, some places where this would be great: space travel, working on oil platforms, working at the bottom of the sea, which actually needs a lot of exploration, doing all sorts of different activities where human life is not necessarily as the most expendable piece in the process. You want to, preserve that, so you put these things in their place. However, the District 9 fan in me goes immediately to this thing carrying a gun and pulling me over at a stop and making sure I have my papers. So, and maybe that's me just being me, but man, in the wrong hands, this is bad.
I think you said exactly what I was going to say next was these robots. So first I'll say the Atlas, this version of their robot, because they have the Spot and some other ones, but the Atlas is not really being mass marketed to being sold like the other ones are. Right. It's more like a test platform prototype to test out robotics, limitations of movement and stuff.
Right.
But anyway, regardless, it is. I kind of feel like it's a tool, right? A lot of these things that they're making are tools, and it is again how people use them. And I guess while I say that, I have to also note, as we get more intelligent and adaptable AI, the age-old question is, at what point does a robot say, I don't really want to do that command anymore, I want to do this?
Ooh.
And
then does he turn around and smack you with the table and kind of?
And well, it's like you have to remember it's still a robot, so maybe it decides not to do what you told it to do because it thinks there's a better way to do it, and because you said, pick this easiest way to satisfy what I asked you to do. And if you ask the wrong question, you may get the wrong answer or an answer you didn't want. So it kind of brings me back to just computers in general. The computer does what you tell it to do.
Correct.
So you got to be sure you put the right question in, because if you ask the wrong question, then it may do something you didn't want it to do. And
so wait, here's the other issue, right? If you program AI, because look, basically this is going beyond the conversation of just Atlas being a robot. We're going into the dynamic of this is an AI type of thing, right? So not only if you ask it the wrong question, what if you program it the wrong way to interpret your question, which means it becomes too analytical, because at that level, this is almost the same type of thing that we see in mental disorders, where people themselves can get confused about certain things because the interpretation and how they see it as being rational or an irrational request. So that's number one. And that's a human flaw that's in us already. So that's going to be pre-built into some of the programming of AI. Okay, we could have that discussion. But the secondary part that I like in the same area is, you're right. If you phrase the wrong question, the wrong answer might be, well, the Terminator. And
I mean, yeah, it's that's obviously sci-fi, but I mean the point is still valid. Yes, so
because it still ends up with us getting our asses kicked by an AI.
Still ends up with the robot doing something you didn't want it to do, which could be possible again.
Well, let's face it.
I mean, again, like I said, we're kind of off topic, but again, if you like what we're talking about, and we know we're kind of crazy sometimes, but we enjoy and we like to hear from you guys. So please like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. But and hit the bell down there, of course, too. But
wait, how is that?
But yeah,
Wait, time a second. How do we segue that into being crazy? Because I thought that's rational. Because if you look at every movie with robots in it, name one movie, with the exception of maybe what's the one from Disney, where the robots aren't trying to maim, murder, or take over the planet, right? iRobot, the robots all get kind of messed up. The Terminator, robots all get kind of messed up. Can we name one where the robots are the good guys, like Johnny Five? Maybe that's one, or Wally. That's another good one.
I guess I would say, would you go to the movie theater and buy a $20 ticket to see a movie about robots that do what they're told all the time and nothing really happens? They put stuff in boxes and tape the boxes and ship them, and nothing happens. It's boring. The movies are made for people, and so there you go. But anyway.
See, that was a perfectly rational conversation. Problem solved. There you go.
Got to remember who the target market is. The target market is people. So
that means in the
people likes. Everybody wants the what is it? The what's his face? The guy that always likes stuff that blows up. Something Bay.
Michael Bay.
Michael Bay. Yeah, Michael Bay. Michael Bay movies. Yeah. So there you go.
So our dystopian future, where AI robots watch movies about human beings rising up in insurrection and running around and not doing what they're told. So
maybe, yeah. Bang humans, meat bags. They never listen.
All right, yeah. Go ahead. I'm sorry. We had to go there. It was just too funny. I couldn't ignore it. So go ahead and close it out one more time because I ruined it for you.
Yeah. No, so yeah, again, we appreciate you guys hanging out with us and all the comments. Please keep them coming. If you guys have opinions, I'm sure you do, about robots one way or the other, put them down below. We'd love to see what you guys think. So please like, share, subscribe, keep track of us, and we'd like to hear from you.
There you go. That's pretty awesome. That was actually one of the funnest segments we've ever done because we went a little down a beaten path of, hey, it's open to interpretation. You put that stuff out on YouTube, you have to expect what you're going to see and what other people are going to say. And we didn't even really go into the comment section because I'd love to see what some of the comments were there, but I'll read those later. So there's that. Okay.
Oh, on YouTube.
Yeah, so
you
know what?
As normal.
Too late. Now I got it. I closed it. I closed it. I'll have to look at it later.
We're out.
All right, here you go. So we have a major comment a couple weeks ago about me saying I think Joby wrong. It's Joby, right? So I keep saying it. I keep saying it improperly, and I apologize for that. But it's Joby, right? We also followed up a couple weeks ago that we were looking at the fact that Joby was going to be going ahead and going public. And guess what? Joby has done it. They have gone ahead and they've made themselves available to the public based off the fact that they were a joint venture between one other company and they had $2.2 billion in cash funds. And they made the jump and they brought this out. So this is an article that basically says, hey, it happened. It comes to you from Forbes, right? It says electric air taxi maker Joby goes public, offering investors sky-high potential and risk. And you guys know we're all about telling you about those risks that we've talked about before. Interestingly enough, they started it with a little bit of tongue in cheek, and they say a small investor can now take a flyer on one of the leading companies working to give people the option of commuting cross town by air. It goes on to explain that basically this has been 12 years of secret development work that also took place by the Joby founder, which is CEO Joe Ben Brevert. I guess I got that right or wrong. And he's got the 1.1 billion coming in, and then also they got the money from the two other gentlemen that jumped in, which was one of the founders of Lincoln, and what was the other one? The gentleman, somebody else brought a lot of money to the table. Anyhow, these guys have now basically gone and done the IPO. It looks like they're trying to make their plans come true because this is the first article that we've actually seen, which says, look, this puts them in the forefront to become the first FAA certified company of this type in the eVTOL market to carry passengers, right? And it's kind of interesting to see that that's the thing because the roadmap that they gave here is about 2025 that they'd be able to physically carry passengers. Now, I'll say it with the caveat that just because you threw a lot of money at it doesn't mean they're going to be successful. They have flown their aircraft around. We talked about it that maybe they should be doing a little bit more, but how do you see them moving forward in the marketplace with what's in this article about their timeline of moving forward?
Yeah, it's we've talked about eVTOLs a lot, of course, and aviation as an industry can be quite difficult to get going, especially a new sector. And we had mentioned before, of course, that a big hurdle is going to be certification. And getting the government on board, obviously in North America as far as the FAA is concerned, and making this actually a start. We know that money at some point drives a bit of publicity, and these guys have some backing, of course, but they also have something that is more quiet than a helicopter. And I like to point out that as we look at air taxis, some people, I've seen comments say, well, I mean, why is this even a thing? Why are we even making these? We have helicopters. Right. And, again, helicopters, we've mentioned a lot of things about those. They're obviously noisy, quite expensive to maintain, and some inherent issues with, let's say, rotating components outside the aircraft. Right. I mean, if you have a helicopter and the big rotor blades on top, regardless of how many blades are up there, you've got them on top and they're spinning quite fast, and we really don't like those to touch anything while they're in motion. True. And some of these air taxis have novel ideas on ways to avoid that issue as well. But for example, here it just says last month, Joby released a video in which the Brevet, the owner and CEO, noticed that the noise meter showing the aircraft flying over at 100 meters away, it's 100 meters, was 55 decibels. Right. So that is actually, I heard 65, I think, in the past, but the 55 is lower than I had heard. I think lower than I had heard before. So that is good.
So here's the problem, though.
As a reference, that helicopter about the same distance, about 90. That varies quite a bit depending on helicopter technology on board. But anyway, point being, that's good. So
it didn't help their stock.
I mean, there's so many things about it, right, Mike? We've talked about where they're going to land, infrastructure, where are people going to let it in their neighborhood? How does the airspace, how does all that sort out? So, I mean, what do you think, man?
It didn't help their stock. No, it didn't help their stock because they positioned themselves. They opened at 1332 is where they opened, and they're currently sitting 886 right now. Okay, so look.
It was $9
It was $9 this morning. And the thing is, if you look at, and I'm just trying to take a look at one other thing here, because as the basic market is going today as a trend, the market's down quite a percentage. It's down 0.47%, what it looks like right now. But here's the deal, right? Yeah, you mentioned all the things. How are these things going to get into the marketplace? What are they going to do? And we've also discussed the fact that they need market. They need market share. They need money. They need revenue. They say they're going to operate at a cash loss. I think they said 1.1 billion that they're going to burn through for the next year and a half to get to that point where they're even going to have that, right? So this is what they basically said in the article themselves. And it's right here. Joby is projecting roughly 1.1 billion from 2021 through the end of that year. That's only 1 year, okay? Look, they do have some big backers. And that's great because it's going to take deep pockets to be the ones that are really going to be in this, because you got Reid Hoffman, and he is the co-founder of LinkedIn, and it was the guy from Zynga, which is our Mark Pincus, right? And these guys are going to have to throw some cash, and I'm talking about more cash, because right now it doesn't look like they've raised enough money where this is going to be successful enough as being an IPO. They've got to prove something other than on paper. And right now, flying circles at 150 miles an hour at a time, in a 150 mile an hour ring, is not enough to warrant that I say that they're going to be successful in this space. So David Cummings said it doesn't matter. Lilium is way better even. Okay, and could prove out, because Lilium is one of the other SPACs that we look at, right? They're one of the other ones that have turned around and put some money out there. But how this marketplace develops, what's going to happen with the true players? Look at Joby is going to be the basic. They have to hit these milestones now. They're going to successfully keep their stock going up. They're not doing it. Sorry.
Yep. Yeah, it needs to be seen, of course. And on to the comment about Lilium. We know Lilium's got a big footprint in Germany and over in Europe, but they are over here now. They're talking about putting vertiports. I think they are calling theirs vertiports, even in Florida where we're located. So, needs to be seen. I guess the only thing I would hope with any of these companies, as we talked many times, we like competition and we like innovation. Sure. I would hope that they wouldn't get too hung up on regulation and airspace and things like that, to the point where it has a detriment on any and all of their advancements.
100%.
Right? So
100%. Look, I mean, the other problem is I don't know what they're going to do to convince the general public. And this is the problem. The general public now holds a segment of this company, right? And the problem is they're going to have to sway their public perception to the point where they move the needle on that stock. Well, they're going to have to do it through innovation, because they're not going to turn profit for a long time. So they've got to show something that is really demonstrable, to a point where everybody in the marketplace goes, wow, they've got this thing made up, because as we're going to see, there's even other entrants right now that are jumping in every other day that want to hit that same nail with the same hammer. So it's going to be a fight, but there's a lot of money behind it. So,
Yeah.
ooh, he's in Orlando right now, building them as
He
we
says they're building
speak.
them as we speak.
Really, David? Is that insider?
We won't get. Well, I mean, I could say I know the area as well, David. Weren't they putting that vertiport near like Lake
Yeah.
Nona area? That's what I had heard. Was that what you're speaking about?
Yeah, well, so like, subscribe, follow. We'll continue this conversation because this is fantastic.
Yes, we're interested in that as well.
Yeah,
so,
I want to hear more, because if there's something else that, if that's the case, because you speculated, Corey, that's where they were going to go. You said that they're.
That's what I had read a long time ago and seen some news, some pretty early news about that. I actually ran across that on LinkedIn way back when. Yeah, so, but if that's going up,
that says a lot.
That's pretty interesting. I can chase down some of the details that I know I was looking at with that, and we can get back to that. Yeah, like no, awesome. Okay, very cool.
So that's pretty cool. So here's the thing: we actually attended a long time ago, maybe it was about 4 years ago. We went to something that was about the drone market, and there was a lot of companies that were very hot for being in this area off the Space Coast, because there's 3 major advantages. Number one, there's a lot of controlled airspace due to NASA. Number 2, it's very flat. Number 3, it offers great conditions for testing, with basically providing hot, humid air, which simulates being higher in altitude than natural. And that gives them a really, really big footprint to do testing on. And we've always speculated that Florida is the ultimate state, obviously, because it attracts so many flight schools and general aviation.
Yeah.
But the other side of it is it's all flat. There's very little a hit, and it's a great place to launch your first airways to get these types of systems off the ground. So many comments right now. So
James,
James has one.
How many companies are working with the military? Many of them.
Yeah, so there's a lot of them, and we know the one that we know is actually still bidding on that contract, which is Aptera, is doing their very best to be down selected again in the AFTWorks project for the high-speed VTOL project for the Air Force. So that's another one that we're still waiting to follow up on. And if you missed it at the top of the hour, they subbed to us today. Thanks, Aptera.
Yep, so, that's true. Yep, that's true.
That's pretty cool. All right, American Virtual is getting caught up. Not caught up. Sorry.
Excellent.
Sorry, 14, whatever. I don't know, whatever the hell it is.
Excellent.
All right, well, we move on to the final comments and discussion for today, which would be something that was sent to us by one of our subscribers, as well as some of the things that caught Corey's eye over the last couple of weeks, which is another entrant into the eVTOL market. And with that said, Corey, go ahead and take the show.
Yep, this next one comes to us from the Rob Report. It says, forget the chopper. This eVTOL is styled like a flying sports car that parks in your garage. It's the Leo eVTOL from Urban eVTOL. The company's called Urban eVTOL. And basically, it looks pretty interesting. They have a veteran designer on from the 2 people that are on their list on the website. One of them is an automotive designer, so he's got some nice shapes here. And the other gentleman has a bunch of patents with various things, some of them to do with electric turbine jetpacks, actually. And he's used some of his innovations in tech to put that into basically 5 different distributed banks of electric turbines on the vehicle. And this thing is supposed to have basically like the size of a two-car garage, kind of that, it like fit in that size. So it's a really smaller size, and it's so it's projected to have speeds up near like 250 miles an hour and flight time about an hour, which is all pretty interesting. But more marketed to, or more, it seems like they're more marketing this thing to be, and I even saw somewhere there, they said they're going to maybe sell it like as a kit that could help replace those affluent users to replace their car, their ground-based car, obviously ground-based transportation. The kit somewhere around $300,000 kit that you could assemble with an experimental type certificate somewhere in like 2023. That's their estimate. And possibly full arrival for the market consumer, full ready to go 2026. So on my end, and also if you go through and you look at this, they also have thought about other things like where they're going to land these, where they're going to take off, where they operate, the whole ecosystem of how it would function. So that's good to know. But just as I mentioned to Mike before we started the show, as you guys know from us doing eVTOLs before, I kind of am interested, like what battery tech are we looking at? What kind of like endurance did the electric jetpacks have, and kind of thrust are we looking at, and how much does this thing weigh? And
Well,
you know, we like details. And
so far we got one.
so
We got
yeah,
one. They say they won the NASA Hero X Award, which means that they've
yes,
been selected
yes.
at some level for their innovation. Which, when it looks like right now, that I'm not really sure what it entails, because we only looked at this for a little bit, and we know NASA is really heavy into the eVTOL market right now. They're doing a lot of research, working with the FAA to lay the pathway for the regulations that we know that have to come. Right? It's sexy, but yeah, it's even their website goes into very little detail, and we're actually here right now, and I'm on the website, and they have the Leo, but you're right. They don't really answer a ton of questions. They say it's the Leo Coupe. They just give you some scale comparisons towards some of the others, like Lilium, and you know
Right.
the competitors, that Volocopter, and it looks like Joby, whatever, and then
Like
yeah,
Archer.
Archer, and a
Yeah.
few others. And well, that's great, and it fits in this compact size. The problem is, I wonder how you're going to A, type certify it. B, it's great that you could fly it into your garage, but man, the more complex that they make these designs, the more that they make them try to fit into what we, meaning actually the average person, thinks what would be the applicable flying car model, right? The amount of information that they've supplied is low compared to what they've got to prove to themselves that they can actually do that, right? Because the first thing that comes to mind when I see this thing parked next to a Tesla in the garage is, boy, there's going to be a lot of air moving in that garage all the time. And there's going to be very few garages that are going to be able to accept that massive volume of air moving around them without blowing crap in.
That's literally
Yeah.
what I was thinking about when I said
Yeah.
wait. I was thinking to myself, okay, it's gonna hover somewhere on your property near the
Yeah.
building and trees and stuff.
It's going to.
Just as basic
Yeah.
physics, right? If it's gotta hold up a car that weighs
Mhm.
5,000 pounds, you've got to move that much mass of air to hold the vehicle up.
Right.
And as a quick thought, small helicopter, if you're near a small helicopter, you're looking like 30, 40 mile an hour winds blowing
Mhm.
away under the aircraft to hold it up. It's total generalization there, but the point still stands, as Mike said. Yeah, how much airflow are you going to see in the immediate area of this thing? A lot, obviously, but maybe the idea is you land it and then it rolls somehow.
Mm.
I mean, you got to charge it too, right?
Right.
So I don't know. I guess that's where we're going with this, right? We're interested. We just don't have quite enough details to our
We
liking,
need
so.
more, right? And look, the pictures of it look great. Anybody can make a great rendering these days. It's not a hard thing to do. You need somebody who understands 3D Studio Max or CAD. They go out and throw out a nice render. I know, because I've done that crap forever. And it's not a hard thing to do necessarily. It's great with sleek pictures. And again, not knocking the process, because this is what they're all doing, right? However,
Of course, yeah.
the difference is, there's so much money, there's so much competition. You got to be more on substance than pretty pictures these days when you're going to get into this marketplace, right? And that's really important. James Peckle says that he sees these things racing, which is one of the things. And in the same conversation, David goes back and says he thinks Lilium is a millionaire maker, right? But what do we think of Aptera? We'll come to that to the end, because first we need clarity on the fact that you think, is it Aptera, which is actually the solar car company, or were you short for Jet Aptera? Because that's another one.
I think. Well, I don't know. I know of the solar car company, but I don't know what David's asking about specifically. And
look, the basic long and short of it is these things become more popular. People are gonna. The inspiration behind the flying car has been childhood dreams since the Jetsons first went on television. There have been chasers after this for a long time. The guy that got closest was the guy that made this. What was it? The Super Trap mufflers. Also made the Muller Sky car.
The Muller car. The Muller car was.
He was pretty early,
too,
but he wasn't that far off the mark. And the problem is, you finally have the technology in solid state driving systems, meaning batteries and other different, electric technologies that can do instantaneous speed changes on motors, that makes eliminating the complex transmissions and all the other parts that were necessary before obsolete. That's important.
And a lot of that weight.
A lot of that weight.
All the peripherals.
Okay. The problem is,
accessory drives.
Yeah,
and
the
whatnot.
problem is, like we said before, you don't weight shed anymore because you're not burning a physical fuel, right? So that's why I liken myself to Jet Aptera, because if they're using traditional means to generate their lift, meaning an APU with, fuel, it makes life a lot easier. You got to accept some burn there. So, hey, like, subscribe, follow. Let us know what you think about this one. It's another entry into yet another complex and growing marketplace with lots of competitors and lots of money. And who knows what's going to shake out in the end. But then again, we know which ones we're looking at. And just as that said, here's Aptera. I'm going to bring up theirs because this is the solar car company, which looks cool. Actually, I'd never really looked at it before. Do I think that something like this can make it? I think yes. I do believe that you can take a car like this and have it be successful if it's what it can do. The only thing it's really got to prove is durability, because I can tell you from what I see from this design right now, these wheel pants would be destroyed in seconds on some roads in New York City. And I'm not really sure if the design is durable enough right now, because it looks too much more like an aircraft. It may have to go through some design changes to make it just a little bit more durable. How's that?
I'm sure that must be a balance. They must have struck with aerodynamics to make it as efficient as possible, because the idea here, of course, that you can drive it or live in a place with enough sunlight, solar availability, buildings and whatnot, that you wouldn't have to charge it at all. And it's actually pretty inexpensive as far as solar cars go. They claim they're quoting it starts at 25,900, which is pretty attractive. So they do. I don't know if you guys have seen this before, but you can go to their website, and I'll put the link down below here in a minute. But actually, I guess I can do that here in a second. But you can also click. They have a little interface where you can say where you live and how many miles you drive a day, and it'll tell you if you should be able to do that without any charging, any supplemental charging, right? Which is pretty cool. Yeah. So let me get that. I'll do the video, or I'll get the link.
I guess the real big thing is you're saying 0 to 60. They're capable of 0 to 60 in 3.5 seconds. But now, if you're right, if they're right on their modeling here, and they say you don't have to sit and live and breathe by range anxiety that most EV vehicles have today, right? That's the biggest thing, range anxiety. Can you really get that charge in the car? Because we're so adaptive to the fact that you just put gas in it and it goes. But if they eliminate that, I think any electric vehicle right now that even goes further than, say, the adaptation of the first hybrids from Toyota when they made theirs, and takes it to a solar, design that pushes this envelope where you kind of eliminate one more barrier, I think they all have a shot. Now, will it be boutique or will it be widely accepted is completely different. Just spitballing, right? I'm trying to find where that map is, though, here on the website, which is vehicle
/vehicles. Yeah.
Okay, so here you go. So it's starting at 25.9.
Yes, sir.
Ooh. That's impressive.
Yeah, quite interesting.
That's really impressive, because if you turn around and if you think about the viability of having a station car, if you're just going to commute, to a station or to a small inner city environment, you live 10 minutes on the outside of town, you don't spend 6 hours in traffic every day. Well, let's take a look. Let's just take a look at the viability here. And there's Florida. So Florida seems to get a lot of sun. Like the sun zone where you live. So we're at a 4.
Like a
4.
The
only thing that kills that is thunderstorms, which is, let's just say we do 45 miles. All right, 7.67 charges per year. If that's to be believed,
right.
Yeah, I'd like to see that also off of paper and see it in real world. Let's see if we lived on a 12, right? If we lived on a 12, 4.75 charges per year. Now let's see if we lived in a 0, or let's say a 1. Let's go to a 1. Ooh, that only goes up a little bit.
Solar can be added to the hood and roof hatch for up to 24 miles of additional free charging. Obviously it's free, but it's the sun. But yeah,
hey, I like the concept. Let's see what they can do.
It's intriguing. Yeah,
I'd like to know more about them. Because the next step would be taking the same design and putting, fan blades on it and making it fly.
Wow. Yeah, actually here. So we were talking about aerodynamics earlier, and here's some just if you guys know about drag coefficients, just a measurement of the resistance of a vehicle in this case as it moves through the air. And Toyota Corolla's drag coefficient 0.29er, the Model 3 Tesla 0.23, and the Aptera car 0.13.
It's a big one. Oh, here you go. So it's right here. Yeah.
Significantly more aerodynamic
than something else.
Some cars you probably already know of.
Hey, we got a new segment just out of this one alone. We didn't really expect to talk about it, but thanks, David, for the comment. We appreciate it. Right, really cool. We'll take a look at it maybe a little bit more. It's interesting, really interesting. It begs the question, but who knows if these guys can make it? But I actually now looking at it, I would drive it 0 to 60 in 3.5 seconds. Yeah, I would take one of those.
Let me figure out. We'll do some more research. I'd like to see one in person.
Well, look, let's just face it. My hopes are on two things: the 2022 Golf R or the Cybertruck. Really? Yeah. I mean, Cybertruck.
No, yeah.
Cybertruck to me is like, woo! I want one because I look at it. The design is pretty cool. You put a wrap on that thing in a certain color, and you're ready to go. So awesome. Okay, folks, that's all we got time for today. You done?
I'm done. Yeah, I'm good.
I'm done.
Yeah,
we're
thanks,
done.
Everybody.
We enjoyed our time with you today, and we look forward to joining you guys again tomorrow with some more interesting stuff. If there's stuff you want us to cover, let us know in the comments below. We'll be more than happy to cover it for you. It's great interacting with all you guys in chat. We appreciate all the new subscribers, and we'll talk again with you guys tomorrow.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, everybody. Take care. Have a great day. Enjoy.
Bye.
Peace. Bye-bye.
Take it easy.
Oh, look, it's instantaneous music. We don't have to wait any longer. Thanks, Harris Heller, for the music again. Thanks for the new subs. And thanks to all the comments that we got in chat today. Yeah.
Yes, sir.
We appreciate every bit of it, guys. Oh, man, we went up. We're 331 right now.
331.
We got a couple more subs today. Thanks, guys. Take care, everybody. Have a great day. Peace.
Bye.